Hi, I'm Celeste, and welcome to Find Your Purple. Well, I had a comment from someone named Kieferheads, which I appreciate you reaching out, and she said that she also went on the journey of a whole food, plant-based diet 6 years ago. Now, she might be stricter. I'm moving towards whole foods, but I'm more plant-based at this point. But she said that her husband wasn't on the same journey and that it took them a while to figure things out. And so I thought that'd be a good thing to talk about because it must be difficult if you're married and one of you want to go, plant-based and one doesn't. It's like a smoker. One wants to quit smoking, the other doesn't. I'm not married, so I didn't have that issue. Now, one of my daughters and my granddaughter lived with me at the time. And when I told my kids, I have 4 daughters, and when I told them I was going to check out this vegan option, since that's the term we used at the time, they were saying, "Are you still going to make holiday dinners?" Because I'm not much of a cook the rest of the year, but I would always make the turkey on Thanksgiving, the corned beef and cabbage and black-eyed peas and sausage on New Year's, and then, something on Christmas. And so that was their first question. Once they knew we were still allowed to eat what we wanted during the holidays, they were fine with it. They said they didn't want to go vegan. They had no intention of ever moving that route, but they didn't mind that I did. And the way my daughter and granddaughter and I worked it out was I would cook for me, they would cook for themselves. And I would shop for me, they would shop for themselves. Now, obviously, if I was going to the grocery, I'd say, "Do you need anything?" Or if they were going. But we just didn't get in each other's way with it. I think trying to convince someone, it's kind of like my journey on the Christian faith. Telling someone, this is the way you should go, food-wise, faith-wise, probably politics-wise, vaccination-wise, it's kind of puts you in a confrontational mode. And I do think people get defensive typically with any of those subjects. So I don't really bring it up much. Now, if I do go out with someone, most of my friends, they're aware of it. As long as I don't push it on them, then everyone seems to be fine with it. Traveling nowadays, you have more choice. The places in Texas I have the most trouble or weddings if they went barbecue. For some reason, none of the barbecue places have gotten on the wagon. Their beans have the bacon in it. Everything just has meat in it. So that's when I can't even really get a salad there without it having stuff on it. So that's the only place I'm finding that I struggle a little bit with really having options. But generally, it's not an issue. And again, none of my siblings have gone plant-based. My kids have not. But what I do find is the people around me have seen kind of what it's changed in my health and my diet and my appearance, I guess, that if they stop and look at where they are now, eating-wise versus where they were 6 years ago, maybe it would have happened otherwise because there is more information out there. But I'd say a lot of them are pushing more to the 70% plant-based. And to me, even one day without meat is a good thing. So, but again, if they ask questions, then I'll answer. Once in a while, I might send a text to my kids about a video that I thought was really explaining some of the benefits of, I usually don't go the danger route as much as I go the benefit route. What's good about adding it to your diet? So I think that's the best way. But they have pushed that on Turkey Day, Thanksgiving. I always make the turkey. And it's part of my tradition, so I'm good with that. I brine it all night. So, I do the whole shebang. But I also have a tofurkey roast of some kind. And I'm finding I'm now having to double that because that's starting to become popular. And we always have additional dishes. So it's not that they don't have to give up their stuff. They start filling up with some of the other stuff that's healthier. So they don't eat as much of the meat or whatever that they used to. So anyway, it's a lose-lose if you try to convince someone. and I think it turns them off. Because I remember before I became a plant-based eater, if I was at a dinner and there was someone there and they said they were vegan and they weren't going to eat what the person had, I literally would have rolled my eyes and thought, suck it up and just eat it. Now I realize that, no, I don't want to suck it up and eat a steak or eat a ribs or something. But I avoid it because anyone that invites me, I do mention it ahead of time if that's an issue. And generally it's not, or I'll bring something. And in a, we have a lot of potlucks. I always bring something that I can make an entire meal out of so that it's not an issue. So I don't think it's an issue unless you make it an issue. And if you make it an issue, then you're the problem, not them. So if you feel you're the right, in the right all the time and you kind of make it like that, you're going to turn everybody off. And your chances of, letting them see what you're doing and ask questions about it and maybe start trying a few vegan dishes, you've lost your chance because you turned them off. But anyway, that is my story. That's my recommendation. And I do think there's so much out there for people to check out. Again, Fork Over Knives, a real easy movie to watch. It's usually found on Netflix or something. What the Health would be another one. Those were my two. And those were over 6 years ago. So I'm sure there's a lot of current ones that make it a good story for why you might want to check your diet. And if you're a mother, young mothers out there especially, or people thinking of getting pregnant and having children, really, really check it out. If you don't want to do it for yourself, check out what you might want to do with your kids. The younger you start them, the more they love a lot of the stuff that later they might not want to eat. So I do think that's my big thing. I put cheese on everything for the kids because if you put cheese on it, it was healthier. It was good for the calcium. All of that. I bought into all the marketing. And that's a big regret I have because, broccoli, put cheese on it. Potatoes, put cheese on it. Everything tastes better with cheese. And that's the toughest things for my daughters to give up. And that was hard for me to give up and mentally, because again, I believed you had to have dairy for your calcium. And now there are studies, very clear studies, that show the countries with the most dairy consumption have the highest osteoporosis. It doesn't help the bones. So again, if you're a young mother planning to be a mother, do some research before you decide what you want to feed your kids. So that's it. As always, grab your cup of tea, sit back, and let's start sharing. Until next time, bye-bye.